I don't see color. I'm a good person. Yeah. I'm sure many of us have heard this type of rhetoric before, right? We know it's 2018 and slavery and Jim Crow are things of the past, right? However, racism itself is not. We know you guys are tired of hearing about it. We can understand because we're tired of dealing with it. You may have the benefit of downplaying or downright ignoring it simply because it doesn't affect you the same, but that doesn't mean we all can, nor that it no longer exists. We're confronted by it every single day, directly, indirectly, or because we see it day in and day out on TV, social media, etc. We can't blame the media, of course, because if it wasn't happening, they simply could not report it. And it's not very likely that these outlets, who aren't owned by us, of course, would possibly be making up such negative stories to paint their own people in such negative lights just for the sake of ratings. True, both parties have racist tendencies. Many blacks joke and talk bad about whites and vice versa. And we all know two wrongs don't make it right. There is no excuse. But in this instance, there is a reasoning behind it. And there is also a difference. Active versus reactive. The reasoning behind most white people reflect these tendencies may be due to misunderstanding, cultural differences, fear, what they've been taught or have innately picked up from their upbringing and environments, hatred, or an assortment of other reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with how they've been treated. Black racism, for those who display those tendencies towards whites, on the other hand, are usually in reaction or response to how they've been directly or indirectly treated, along with an ongoing history of oppression experienced generation after generation. It's that simple. The difference is, black racism doesn't affect the everyday lives of other Americans, but white racism does. It has profoundly affected our past, it is profoundly affecting our present, and it's undoubtedly going to affect our future. Still don't see it, I guess. That's okay. We're here to enlighten and to point out the obvious. It's sad so many people seemingly oblivious to what's going on can't see it for what it is, but what's even worse is seeing one of our own kind blind to the facts, simply ignoring them or buying the bullshit they've been sold, all because they're brainwashed for self-benefit or even a check. But again, that's where we come in. With that being said, let's take a ride down memory lane. But first, let's check out some recent developments that correspond with the past. Oh yeah, all the visuals used in this video are property of the respective owners. We do not take credit for any works other than our own. Enjoy!
With the poor people going on, and we do not waste water. We don't waste water because of people in Syria. I love how I act like black people. I love how I act like I love black people because I fucking hate niggers. So that's really interesting. I fucking hate niggers, but I just saved the fucking niggers by shutting that water off. So jump on it, jump on this, jump on this, jump on this, jump on. Nuts, like I'm gonna probably jump on your man.
Sorority. I've wanted to be an Alpha Phi since I was fucking in high school, and nobody fucking understands how much I love Alpha Phi. And now someone wants to stake my finta because I said nigger. You know what? Nigger, nigger, nigger. No, I don't care if it's Martin Luther King Day. Nigger, nigger, nigger. I'm in the South now, bitch. So everyone can fuck off. I'm from New Jersey. So I can say nigger as much as I want. Nigger, nigger, nigger. And if anyone else wants to fucking snake me on my fucking finsta for saying nigger, I'm in a fur vest. I want you to buy my fucking fur vest. Because fuck you.
We got London on the track.
Fuck black people. And fuck Spicks. Hey man, But we practice this enough. Okay. Back in my part of the woods, we do it like this. It's called anointing. I solemnly swear to always have hatred in my heart for niggers. Spirits. Most importantly, finish the sentence. The what, Aaron?
The fucking kikes.
Now go to town, boy.
The community of Barstow, California is currently outraged over a police shooting and also the lack of transparency from the local police department there. Now, this police shooting happened earlier in April, and unfortunately it led to the death of an unarmed man by the name of Deontay Yarber. He was only 26 years old and also the father of 3 children. Those children are left fatherless today after police decided to open fire while Yarber was in a car with 3 other passengers. He was parked at a Walmart with 3 other passengers in the car when these cops decided to open fire. Now, let me give you the details of what occurred. And again, there is a lack of transparency. They are refusing to release any type of surveillance footage, body camera footage, dash cam footage. They're just not cooperating and not releasing any information. And the community's outraged, understandably so. So Barstow Police Department officers shot and killed 26-year-old Deontay Yarber on April 5th in his cousin's black Ford Mustang. Yarber and 3 others were parked outside a Walmart when police say he and his vehicle were deemed suspicious.
So I'm gonna skip ahead for one thing because it's really important for you to know it. The car was not stolen.
Right.
They could have just looked into the car and see if it was or not. And so I don't know why the car is suspicious, let alone why the guy inside the car is suspicious. Because they have, it appears, no reason to believe that the car was suspicious. Even if they got a call in, it just takes you a minute to call it in. Hey, here's the license plate, is this a stolen car or not? But no, they already saw what they needed to see and they needed to act right away, which was of course to shoot these people.
Right, and so again, if the car was not a stolen car, we all know that if officers are suspicious of a car being stolen, they can run the license plate. That is apparently not something that they did in this case. Police say that Yarber tried to pull his car out of its parking space when officers approached, colliding with a patrol car, then shifting gears and striking a second car. It was only then, the police narrative states, that officers opened fire. Now, if that is in fact what happened, then why is it that the police department refuses to release any surveillance? They will not allow the release of Walmart surveillance, releasing their body cam footage. I mean, if he posed a threat, then prove that he posed a threat. At least give some closure to the community, to the family members, but that is not what they're doing. Mr. Yarber was pronounced dead at the scene. Another passenger, a woman identified as Mariana Tafoya, was also struck by gunfire and was airlifted to a hospital. She had been struck in the abdomen and leg. Luckily, she is getting better and she's expected to live. The 2 other passengers, both men, got out of the Mustang during the episode, and one of them sustained what authorities called minor injuries. The authorities said they're minor injuries. Again, I don't know for sure if they were minor injuries, but I do know that luckily they did survive. The department says officers thought Yarber looked like a suspect in a recent car theft. But that is not enough of a reason to open fire. The attorney for the family indicates that about 30 rounds were fired. Now, again, that's what the attorney is saying. I would like to see more evidence of how many shots were fired, but there was a bystander there who took some footage, and we're gonna show that to you right now, just to give you a sense of how many shots were fired. Take a look. In the middle of a parking lot, 11 a.m., by the way, broad daylight.
Okay, so let's go to the main point that the cops have, which is almost nothing, of course. If they had a real case, they'd release the video. They're not releasing the video because what they did was wrong. Otherwise, they would release it immediately. If the guy had pulled a gun, you know how quickly that video would be out already? But there was no gun, as usual, unarmed black man, okay? But he looked suspicious. Gee, I wonder what was going through their heads. Okay, anyway, so they said, well, we thought we were in danger because the car crashed. Now, were there giant dents in the car? Because they gave the car back to the family. We'll show you a video of that in a second, okay? So were there these huge giant dents as he smashed into the car and the cops thought, oh my God, their life is in danger? No, okay. Now, and by the way, there are a great number of instances throughout the country where cops have shot into incredibly slow-moving cars because they're like, I guess I'm in danger. Let's just murder the guy inside. And how fast could he have hit the patrol car in his own car when he was parked? You were in mortal danger? So their excuse is, we were worried about us and the community and the danger that these guys posed. Wait, so let me get this right. You were worried about the danger to the community, so you opened fire in a parking lot, in a crowded parking lot at 11 in the morning in front of a Walmart. And even if you thought the guy looked suspicious, there's 3 other people in the car. Yeah. You opened fire into that car. Gee, I wonder what's more dangerous to the community. The fender bender that you survived, okay? Or you opening fire and putting 30 rounds into a car with 4 people in it. But again, what is it? Their life is not important. The only life that matters is the cop's life. And it's not even his life. They're like, oh my God, if I might get a broken nothing. If any of it is true, cops of Barstow, let's see the video. But you're not showing the video because you're liars. And one day we are gonna see the video because some court's gonna make you show us the video. And you know what it's gonna show? That you were in no danger at all. That maybe you could have gotten a hangnail as you moved your car like this. You wanted to fire the guns. You wanted to fire them, and you're taught to fire them. Oh my God, slight danger, 1% danger. Let's murder everybody in sight. Oh, look, they're unarmed black people. What a coincidence. That's what happens in this country. It happens all the time.
The lawyer for the family mentioned something that I thought was interesting. So the shooting happened on April 5th, and the police department decided to release the vehicle back to the family, that bullet-ridden vehicle. The vehicle is evidence, right? You would think that the vehicle should be used as evidence in a case because it seems like on its face excessive force. But my interpretation of all of this is we don't need the evidence. You guys can have the car back. It's not that big of a deal. We don't really need to investigate this.
No, because they're not gonna. What are they gonna do? Right. Press charges against them or anyone else in the car? No, because they didn't do anything wrong. And I don't know if it's their way of tainting the evidence by giving it back so that if the family sues or whatever, they're like, oh, well, we can't tell because they had the car. Maybe they put it in, I don't know. Whereas if you kept it in police headquarters, it would still be a chain of evidence that you could use. So, all right, but can we show the video of the car?
Absolutely, yeah. So the family took a video of the vehicle after the police department gave it to them. Take a look.
So, yeah, okay, where's the giant crash? I mean, where's so there's a little dent right there. You saw the little dent?
Jesus.
Okay, now I see the bullet holes, but where's if the cops' lives were in danger, there must have been a gigantic dent in the car as they smashed into the patrol car, putting their life in danger, right? That was a slight dent. I've gotten way worse dents in parking lots. You saw it in the beginning, in the front, there's a little fender bender. Yeah. And that's they murdered that guy and they shot into a car with 4 people because of a fender bender.
And by the way, I want to be
right there. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, but I also want to be absolutely clear about something. We have absolutely no evidence that the scratches at the front of the car were caused by what the police allege, right? Let us see the surveillance. Let us see your body cam footage. Let us see some footage, some evidence. I've had scratches on my car from all sorts of things. That could have been damage caused by some other, previous situation. And so the biggest issue here is, of course, the loss of someone's life. But the second biggest issue is the lack of transparency from this police department. Tell us what happened, be clear about it, prove that he served as an imminent threat. And another thing that I want to mention is that if someone is deemed a threat because they're in a vehicle and you consider that vehicle a weapon that could kill someone or hurt someone, is it really a good idea to shoot and kill the driver, as he's operating that vehicle,
because then the vehicle would be out of control and more likely to hurt someone, not less likely. Right. It's not that, it's that you were told, whatever you do, be a coward and just murder these people. So I just want to be clear, the two real issues, number one is racism. They see a black guy, they're suspicious. I'm not gonna bother to check that it's his cousin's car. I'm not gonna bother to check that he's not a robber. I'm not gonna ask him any questions. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot into his car and kill him, okay? And by the way, like, you wanna know what white privilege is? You go to a Walmart and you don't get murdered by the cops. That's white privilege. So in this case, he's in a parking lot of Walmart, gets killed. John Crawford in Ohio, he picked up a toy gun. They're selling at Walmart because it's a toy and he was gonna buy it. And somebody reported in, oh my God, black guy with a gun. Cops came in, didn't ask him any questions. Shot him within 2 seconds, killed him within 6. Shot him dead, not, hey, are you shopping? Hey, what is it a toy? Is it not a toy? Who are you? What are you doing here? They're like, black guy, shoot him dead, shoot him dead. So when you go to a Walmart and you buy a toy gun or you're sitting in the parking lot, nobody comes and kills you. That's white privilege. So understand what that term means. Okay, now the second issue is the trained cowardice of police officers across the country. So these slowly rolling cars get fired into all the time. In Texas last year, an officer fired a rifle into a car full of teenagers and killed one of them. US Park police officers shot and killed 25-year-old Bajan Geiser in Virginia last year. His car was rolling away from them. For a third time though, you didn't listen to a cop. Disrespecting a police officer is the #1 crime in America, even though it's actually not illegal in any books. But no, your car's rolling away from me, it's slow. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna shoot and kill you. You disrespected me a little bit. In St. Louis area, near Jack in the Box in the year 2000, car again, 3 of the cops, there's 13 cops there, say that it was rolling slowly. The other 10 cops say it wasn't moving at all. What did they do? They fired into the car. You get the point. At least now here, look at this. At least 193 of the fatal police shootings tracked by the Washington Post since the start of 2015 featured officers firing into a moving vehicle. That's just since 2015. They shot into cars 193 times. Why? Oh, car could be a weapon. I got taught that it could be a weapon, and I should never, ever take any risk because my life is worth 1 billion citizens' lives. Just shoot and kill the citizen and be done with it, and later we'll exonerate you. We won't even bother prosecuting you. We won't show the video, and we'll all move on with our lives.
Anger spreading in Philadelphia and across the country over an incident at a Starbucks last Thursday. A manager calling police asking that 2 black men be removed from the store for trespassing. The men had asked to use the restroom, but were told it was for customers only. Then they sat at a table waiting for a friend to arrive, but didn't make a purchase. The scene caught on camera by other customers.
What did they get called for? Because there are 2 black guys sitting here meeting me?
Yes,
well, what did they do? What did they do? Did someone tell me what they did?
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
What did they do?
Nothing. The woman says for...
The 2 men arrested and handcuffed. They weren't charged and eventually were released. Joining me now is Melissa DePino, an eyewitness. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us. You were in that Starbucks when these men were arrested?
I was in the Starbucks.
And tweeted out this video. So tell us what you saw leading up to this video.
Well, you know, I really just noticed something was happening when I saw 2 police officers come into the Starbucks and go over and talk to the men, and then a couple more officers came in, and then a couple more, and I think there were 6 or 8 of them. And sometime during that time, their friend, who you can see in the video, showed up. That's who they were meeting. And we were all just wondering, you know, why are all these policemen here? Why are they trying to make these men leave? They were just sitting there like everyone else. And, you know, we all sort of standing up and, you know, sort of talking to the people behind the counter and to the police officers and asking what was happening. And then they put them in handcuffs and took them out.
And they were, when the police arrived, I mean, how did the other customers react? Because they weren't, there was no yelling, nothing, right? They were pretty calm.
There was no yelling, there was no aggression. I mean, people, they were sitting there like anybody else would be sitting in a Starbucks at any time. And when the police officers were talking to them, there were no raised voices. I was sitting really close by, and I couldn't hear exactly what they were saying because they were talking in a regular tone. So no, there was no disturbance.
So what did the other customers do? How they react?
Well, most of the other customers got up and started saying, what's, just like the man you see on the video, their friend, I mean, what's going on? Why are they asked to leave? There was another woman who said, oh, I'm sitting here with my Gatorade and I've been here for 2 hours and nobody says anything to me. I mentioned that I had been there in that store the day before and I sat there for an hour. I didn't order anything. I was waiting for my son and then I left.
You've been saying that this doesn't happen to white people. That's what you say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can go wherever I want, do whatever I want. This would never happen to me. And, the thing that I've been saying is that, I know that this happens every day to black and brown people in this country, and we just don't hear about it. We don't see it. I mean, it's out there, but people don't see it. They don't hear it. They don't believe it. And having this tweet go viral, over 10 million views, I'm glad it's out there, and that however it got out there, I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad it's sort of sparking conversation so that people who experience this can be the ones to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. And maybe something will happen unless it do more than talk, right? Some action to make a difference.
So, as you can see, quite a few incidents have happened recently that fall in line with racism, discrimination, prejudice, right? All of which were from the month of April 2018. Nothing more than 1 month in time, considering that this has been happening for generations now. But this is still a part of our imagination. As you heard in the previous video about the Starbucks incident in Philadelphia, things like that simply don't happen to white people, or as I prefer to say, non-blacks and Hispanics, i.e. the supposed majority. Now, before we jump the gun, of course, yes, there have been more police-involved shootings that have claimed the lives of whites. Facts. But let's not forget that aside from the rare case, like the Daniel Shavers incident in which even he was reported to have a weapon initially, they are usually considered to be armed and dangerous beforehand. The circumstances are given more consideration, most certainly given more chances, more benefit of the doubt, and far more time and opportunity to comply than we are. And we have yet to hear of an unarmed white police shooting where a person is simply killed based on suspicion, because they look like a suspect, or because the police mistakenly take an object to be a weapon. In fact, I'm sure the phrase unarmed white police shooting sounds funny to you, while unarmed black police shooting doesn't, right? Think of it this way. In recent events, the Parkland shooter, the Nashville Waffle House shooter, as well as many other mass shooters who are considerably more of a danger to the public as well as the police themselves, are just as, or probably more likely to be apprehended alive after a confrontation than we seem to be, unarmed or otherwise. Another key point, yes, there are more annual killings that involve whites than minorities. Facts. But, I repeat, but, there are factors not included in these statistics used to represent that fact, so let's talk numbers. 1. The white population is almost 5 times larger than the black population in the U.S. That means for every 1 black, there's just about 5 whites. Now, you don't have to be a mathematician or even a rocket scientist to understand that based on that fact alone, it is more probable, more likely, and even more expected to be police-involved shootings or incidents in general associated with whites. Despite that information, blacks are still 3 times more likely to be killed, unarmed or otherwise, and even more likely to be approached, questioned, and potentially brought up on charges, which is a totally different story. But usually it doesn't even make that far, because we now know law enforcement has the ability to act as judge, jury, and prosecution in cases where minorities do not receive the constitutional right of due process. Still, we don't want to focus too much on law enforcement profiling and police brutality. You get to see it every day on TV, and we all know this topic extends far beyond the quote-unquote authorities. We'll dive into that in a separate video, of course. But we'll now look at some examples from the recent and distant past where blacks either have or would have been treated differently under similar or exact circumstances. Enjoy.
We talk often on the program about, theoretically, how an open carry advocate would be treated incredibly different if he was white or if he was black. Now, we hypothesize about this. Some open carry activists decided to actually test it, and these 2 videos you're going to see back-to-back show the different ways that police actually respond to these open carry advocates. Let's watch.
How you doing, sir?
Hey.
Howdy.
Can I see your IDs?
No, sir.
No. Why not?
I don't have to. I'm not doing crime.
Okay. Any particular reason why you're carrying the AR, especially around this point?
I'm just exercising my right.
I understand that, but is there a reason why you're doing it?
I just want to walk around.
Of course.
He pulled out the gun. He's getting down. The guy, he's just walking up and carrying.
I do not consent to any search and seizure of my property.
Sir, just gonna ask you. Is this weapon real or is it
It's an AR-15. I'm not.
They're taking his weapon.
So you see a very different response to the two. One has a very cordial conversation with a cop who would obviously prefer him to not have the AR-15, but is asking him questions about his ID and, oh, well, why do you have the gun today? The others instantly threatened to kill them, to put him down instantly in a second.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
You have your driver's license vehicle information on you?
What's going on?
I'd be happy to tell you once I see who I'm talking to, all right?
I need you to let me know, like, what's going on, like, what happened?
I'd be, like I said, I'd be happy to tell you once I see information.
I'm not giving you my information until you tell me what you pulled me over for.
All right, sir. Failure to give me my information is an arrestable offense, okay? So you can either do this the easy way or the hard way, all right?
I need to know what you're pulling me over for.
I'm going to tell you once I see information, all right?
I got information, but I'm not giving you my information until you tell me what you put.
All right, here's the deal. Either give me your ID or you go to jail. How about that?
Put this on camera, man, because we're not dealing with this.
Give me your ID.
I need to know why you pulling me over.
Give him your ID.
Detail 5 radio. I'll be on staff, entrance to the parks. Can you send me another car? I have a uncooperative occupant. Last chance.
Detail 31. Look, I need to know why you pulling me over.
Give him your ID. He's going to tell you.
Where's he again? The entrance to the park. Can you tell me what you pulling me over for? Is my tags expired? Are my lights out?
I'd be happy to tell you, sir. Silver Kia Forte, plate of David Charles Edwards, 0130 DCE 0130, 3 times.
You supposed to tell me what's going on, man.
Are you a lawyer, sir?
Hey, I'm representing myself right now.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, I have a right to remain silent, right? So I could just sit here and ignore you.
No, you can't, sir.
I don't ask you any questions.
Okay. Well, it's going to turn out very poorly for you.
It's fine, but you're not telling me what's going on, and that ain't right.
I'm gonna tell you what the deal is. You're probably suspended, so you don't want to give me your license.
I don't have to give you my information.
Okay.
Tell me what's going on. And that ain't right, because I just renewed my tags in October 2015.
Okay.
So my tags is good. So, am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go. This is an investigatory stop, all right?
This is the who stop?
31.
What, sir?
All right. It's going to end poorly for you now. How about that?
I'm just saying, you got to let me know what's going on.
All right, here's the deal.
For all I know, you could be trying to kill me right now.
You're absolutely ridiculous, all right?
I don't care.
All right,
because
step out of the car.
It's been 2 minutes. I'm not stepping out the car until you tell me what's going on.
All right, open the door.
Hey, put this on camera. Put this on camera. You gotta let me know what's going on, man. You're not doing it.
You're going to jail is what's going on.
For what? For what? You ain't, what charges? On what charges? Wow.
Get out of the car now. Yo, my shit, my shit, get outside. Yo, my shit, my shit, get outside. Yo, my shit, my shit, get outside.
Get out of the car, man.
Get out of the car.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Let me get out of the car. Okay, get out.
Get out.
out of the car! You ain't getting out of the fucking car. Now you're out of the fucking car. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car. On the ground. Put your hand behind your back. I got a car. Me too. Your hands, man. Put your hand behind your back. Put your other hand behind your back. You got it, shoot. Yeah. Get out of the car. Put your hands, man. Get out of the car now. Yeah. Hey, watch that. There's a knife right here. No, it's not. It's yours? Okay. Yeah, I threw it over there. Step out of the vehicle. My wallet and I got my minutes. Put your hands on the car. I'm sorry? Put your hands on the car. Don't touch my phone. Get it out of your hand. Put your hand on the car. Grab my phone! Police brutality. Police brutality. Police brutality. I ain't even doing nothing. You listen to what we're saying? Oh, you're going to jail too.
Good. Yeah, is there a problem?
Well, what we're doing is a DUI checkpoint, make sure everybody's okay. Did you see the signs back there?
No, I didn't see any signs.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I know what it is.
Posted back there,
I'm protesting. Am I legally obligated to show you my ID?
Yeah. If you have
sure
it
about
on,
that?
yeah.
No, yeah. I always carry my ID with me.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I tell you what, I can tell you're not drinking everything, so you're all set. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
How are you doing, sir? DUI checkpoint? Have you had any alcohol to drink tonight? You're not going to answer any of my questions? Sir? Sir? Sir, how are you doing? Is your car in park? Hey, you got a supervisor? You got a supervisor? Refusing to answer my questions.
Name and personnel number?
My name is Officer Aaron Johnson, Boulder City Police Department, P number is 291.
All right.
Have you had anything to drink tonight?
Cervantes! Sarge!
Have you had anything to drink tonight?
What did you say your name was?
Officer Aaron Johnson, P number is 291.
Boulder City PD.
Have you had anything to drink tonight?
All right, thanks.
Have you had anything to drink tonight? Refusing to answer my question, Sergeant.
Okay. So we just need to know if you had something to drink or not, that's all.
Okay.
Okay? You just have to answer that question and you'll be on your way.
I have to answer?
Have you had anything to drink tonight, sir?
What's your name and personnel number?
My name is Sergeant Cervantes, P number 7456.
All right.
Okay?
Am I free to go?
Have you had anything to drink tonight, sir?
Sergeant Cervantes, am I free to go?
Have you had anything tonight, sir? You can have a nice night, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure.
You know you can go to jail for that, right?
No.
Really?
No, I'm just trying to slow people down.
Why?
Because it's dangerous to speed.
Well, that's my job, sir. Do you have your ID with you?
Do I need to have my ID with me?
I'm sorry?
Do I need to have my ID with me?
Yeah, so I can know who you are.
Have I done anything wrong?
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
Am I free to go?
Sir?
Am I free to go?
Of course you are.
Am I detained? Am I detained?
Really, sir?
Am I detained?
I see your camera.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're doing?
No.
Is that what you're doing?
No.
Is that what you... okay.
Am I free to go?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Of what country are you a citizen?
What's the purpose of the stop?
Immigration checkpoint.
Okay, what's the scope of the stop?
Immigration checkpoint. Of what country are you a citizen?
Who do you work for?
U.S. Border Patrol.
Am I being detained?
No, I'm asking you a simple question.
Am I free to go?
I'm asking you a question. You need to answer my question.
Am I being detained?
You need to answer my question, sir.
Am I being detained?
Sir, you need to answer my question.
Am I being detained? I would like to go on my way if I'm not being detained. Am I being detained?
You need to answer my question.
Telling you. I'm asking you if I'm being detained.
I'm just asking you, for the purposes of immigration, I need to ask you of what country you're a citizen.
Am I being detained?
I'm asking you, are you being, what country?
Am I free to go?
You need to answer my question.
Are you refusing to allow me to go on my way?
You know what? You need to answer my question.
Are you refusing to allow me to go on my way?
Can you pull over to secondary?
Are you refusing to allow me to go on my way? Am I being detained?
I'm asking you to pull over to secondary.
Am I being detained?
Can you pull over to secondary, please?
Am I being detained?
I'm asking for the purposes of immigration. You need to pull over to...
Am I being detained?
Can you pull over to the secondary?
You've told me now that I'm not being detained. Am I free to go?
Sir, can you answer my question?
Am I being detained?
For the purposes of immigration, I need to ask you of what country you're a citizen.
You can ask me whatever you want. Am I being detained?
You are not being detained, sir.
Am I free to go? Okay, she's now looking around my vehicle. I'm free to go?
Have a good day.
Your rights? You're a citizen, sir? Respectfully, sir, I do not have to answer that question. Sir, are you a citizen?
I don't have to answer that question, sir.
What's that?
I don't have to answer that question. I'm sorry.
What country are you a citizen of? Again, I'm sorry, I don't have to answer that question, sir. I'd like to travel freely down the road, please.
Okay, do me a favor and pull in lane 2 over there then.
No, thank you. I just want to travel down the road.
No,
please.
actually, you have to. I'm ordering you to park over there in lane 2.
Why is
this
that,
is an
sir?
immigration inspection, and you are not satisfying my need that you are a U.S. citizen.
Well, see,
so pull
you
over
have
lane 2.
a reasonable suspicion to ask me that. And what is your reasonable suspicion?
Supervisor in car 1. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. Again, like I've explained, I'm a private citizen. I like to freely travel down this road without having to answer questions from federal agents. Unless we're living in a police state, unless this is Mexico or Nazi Germany, it's still America, and I can travel down this road without having to answer questions from federal agents.
And all you have to do is say I'm a U.S. citizen and be on your way.
But this is a matter.
You're making a big deal about it.
This is a matter of principle to me, sir. It's
the fact that you're not answering an immigration question is the necessary suspicion I have to send you a second.
You asked me that question before I refused to answer. So what was the suspicion that I was an alien?
From the very get-go.
Right.
Can I please do? Are you willing to answer the question?
We just want to go on our way, sir.
Are you a U.S. citizen or not?
Do you have a suspicion I'm not? We just want to go on our way.
I don't want to hold up traffic. I want to freely travel down the road. May I do that?
You may.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See that, Laredo? That is how you resist tyranny.
So what's your business with me right now?
I want to find out who you are and what the problem was back
There
in
is no
National
problem.
Bank
That's the thing.
So talk to me, let me know
And
who
let you
are,
know.
and you can be on your way.
Why do I have to let you know who I am? Who I am isn't
because
the
that's
problem.
what police do when they get called.
Well, I don't have to let you.
identify people.
Well, I know my rights. First off, secondly, I don't have to let you know who I am if I haven't broken any laws. First off, that's a public area, and if there's no sign that doesn't say this is a private area, you can't sit here. No one can tell me I can't sit here. If that's the case, then I can't sit here.
The problem was
There is no. The problem is I'm black. That's the problem. No, it really is, because I didn't do anything wrong. What's going on, brother?
What's going on?
I gotta go get my kids. No. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me.
You're gonna go to jail then.
No, wait.
You're gonna go to jail.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Hold on.
Can you please?
I'm not
No, come on, brother.
Hold on. I'm not here to argue. I'm not your brother.
This is assault. Can you please?
Hold on. I'm not here to argue with you.
Wrong, sir.
Put your hands behind your back.
No, can you please
Put
not
your hands
do
behind
this?
your back.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Put your hands behind your back.
Come on, really? I gotta go get my kids.
Put your hands behind your back, otherwise it can get ugly.
What do you need from me?
I told you.
Can you have him let me go?
And identify you so you can settle what happened.
I haven't done anything wrong.
I told you what I wanted initially. So we could settle all this. Started to.
No, I haven't done anything wrong. Please, no, don't do this. Please, put your hands behind the program. Put your hands behind the program. Can somebody help me? That's my kids right there. My kids are right there.
Yeah, put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back. Don't choke me. I have asthma, sir.
Well, you're going to get tased.
I'm not doing anything.
You're going to get tased.
I'm not. Ow! Get down! Get down! Get down! I'm not doing anything. Stop, please. Someone help me. Someone please help me. Please help me. Please. Please help me. Can someone please help me? I haven't done anything wrong. Can someone please help me?
So, of course, you still think racism, discrimination, prejudice, and my favorite, white privilege doesn't exist, huh? Right. In the previous scenes, you saw for yourself direct evidence that there's a difference in treatment between us and them. All of these examples were exact scenarios in which the color of skin and the disposition towards it dictated or either impacted the outcomes that most certainly affected one party differently and far more than the other. In the end, individuals will be individuals, and of course no one is perfect. An entire group of people should not be judged on the actions of one person. Just like all whites aren't mass murderers and serial killers, all blacks aren't dangerous and threats to the public. Just like a white person is capable of bad decision making or mistakes on occasion, eventual rehabilitation and forgiveness, blacks and Hispanics are capable of the same and should be treated as such. We're not asking for special treatment. We're just asking for things to be fair and that the same understanding that's applied to others, their situations and their circumstances as well as their histories be applied to us. No more, no less. If a white person can be given or allowed certain rights, passes, opportunities, and understanding even, then we should too. If you don't automatically assume that they're a threat, or that there's criminal intent associated with them, then you shouldn't automatically assume that about us. And if they are in fact treated as being innocent until proven guilty, then we should not be treated the total opposite as being guilty until proven innocent. There's so much more to say, but we'll leave it there for right now. It's 2018. If society has come as far as we say it has, then prove it. Downplaying, pretending, making excuses or justification, or simply covering up things aren't solutions. Neither is trying to convince us, as well as the rest of the world, that our experiences and that our eyes are simply lying to us. Equality is equality. There's no partial substitute for it. And if the Constitution is right, the phrase all men are created equal does not and should not have any loopholes that can be exploited, regardless of skin, history, or origin, or use or purpose. Until the understanding is applied to our community and that these changes are made that suit the situation, you will continue to see and hear about it. And unless the Creator decides or allows us, more specifically me, to be taken out of here, then this fight will continue. In the meantime, stay safe, stay free, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.